You know, this is such a beautiful time of year. Look at these lights. Look how beautiful this courtyard is with the lights in the city, and people are just friendlier. It's such a nice time to live in New York City. And at the same time, when you see the lights, you also, or at least I do, feel a little left out or a little different, because these lights are celebrating a different holiday. Hanukkah has been over for over a week. And I think it's okay and actually important for us to feel a little left out, if you will, or different at this time of year. In this week's Parsha, Moshe, the great Moses, is introduced in the Torah. And we know that Moshe lives a very complicated life because he's Jewish, clearly, but he's raised in the house of Pharaoh. And he's living a very privileged, almost Egyptian life as a Jew. But it all comes to the fore with one incident and one very dramatic story. Moshe is walking in the fields of Egypt and he sees his brothers, his Jewish brothers, who are enslaved by the Egyptians. And he sees one particular Jew that is being beaten mercilessly by an Egyptian. It becomes very clear that if he doesn't do anything, this Jew will die. And it's that moment that he has to now decide who he is. And the Torah says, Vayifen ko vacho, he looks one way, he looks the other. Vayar ki einish, and he sees there's no one there. Vayachat mitzri, he smites the Egyptian, vayitzmenenu b'chol, and he buries him in the sand. And that line is filled with, it's so rich with understanding, because the Torah simply is telling us that Moshe looks one way, he looks the other, wants to make sure the coast is clear. And he sees that it's okay and he kills the Egyptian. But my friend Rabbi Ari Berman, who's now the president of Yeshiva University, suggested that there's something deeper going on. Vayifen kol v'cho, Moshe looked one way, he looked the other, he looked inside of himself. And he looked at one side and he saw the Egyptian. And he looked at the other side and he saw the Jew. Vayar ki einish, and he sees there's no one. He realizes he's nobody. He's not Egyptian, he's not a Jew, because he's on the fence. And this situation is forcing him to decide. And he finally does. And he realizes that there's no one there. And so Vayachat mitzri, so he smites the Egyptian within him and he buries it. And he becomes a Jew. And from that moment on, Moshe becomes the great Moses, the prophet and the leader, Moshe Rabbeinu, that we know leads the Jewish people out of slavery and becomes our greatest prophet ever, because he understood who he was. Because he knew that he was first and foremost a Jew, he could live and do the right thing. And we are living here in New York City. It's so beautiful, it's wonderful, but we need to know first and foremost who we are. And once we know that, we can then appreciate other people. We can appreciate other cultures and the beautiful lights, but not if we're living side by side, if we're living one here and one there, and we're not really sure who we are. Figure out who you are, and then you can do great things, like Moshe Rabbeinu did. Shabbat Shalom. Thanks for listening.